Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My name is Matt Morris. We are live right now on YouTube as well as on Rumble at Matt Morris TV. I'm making sure our settings are all good. I think we're good, folks. President Trump is going live here in about 14 minutes, maybe 20 minutes or so. He's going to be making a massive national address, national announcement about the grand reveal, the official launch of Trump RX, the new Trump administration website where you can buy pharmaceutical drugs with a prescription at a heavily discounted price. And so today, that really is going to be the big news of the day. Of course, we have some other stuff to talk about before now and then. And then, of course, after Trump is done talking about Trump RX, you know he always takes questions from the media, from the White House press pool. So today's really going to be a pretty big show. We have a lot to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, while we wait for President Trump, in fact, take a look at this. We have a beautiful evening view of the White House. This is a live feed while we are on standby, waiting for Trump to come on out. We do have some other news topics to go through. It's been a pretty big day, a pretty eventful day. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are new, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to drop a follow. Make sure to subscribe to the channel on Rumble as well as on YouTube. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. The first thing I want to show you guys while we are on standby waiting for President Trump is this. Folks, breaking news. President Trump has directed border wall construction be fast-tracked. The border is being bulletproofed to ensure any future invasion becomes more difficult than ever. Take a look at this. The border wall was already being built. I think it's been kind of behind the scenes. Nobody's really been talking about it, but it has been. Trump said, hey, double time it.
The Department of Homeland Security is using a rarely challenged federal authority to fast-track new border construction in Arizona and other border states.
Look at that.
In a series of 4 determinations published late last year, DHS waived dozens of federal laws, including environmental and land use protections, to speed up the building of border barriers and access roads in areas officials call high illegal entry zones.
Good.
Here's what those waivers mean, where they apply, and why they're drawing attention. These actions are based on Section 102 of the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996. It's a law that gives the Secretary of Homeland Security broad authority to build border infrastructure. Under Section 102C, the Secretary can waive federal laws and regulations if they're believed to have slowed down construction of barriers, roads, lighting, or surveillance equipment along the border, issued over 3 control sectors in Arizona and our neighboring states. All along our southern border, there are number monuments that mark the demarcation line. These recent filings show expanded construction from marker 195 to 163 in this area, in addition to markers 141 to marker 70. As for the waivers, the scope of them varies, but the December determination is the most expansive. It suspends compliance with the long list of federal statutes, including laws designed to protect wildlife, public lands, and cultural resources. Officials argue the waivers are necessary to avoid delays caused by environmental reviews, permitting, and legal challenges.
You know, every single time the Trump administration, either first term or now that we're back in the White House, second term, there has, every single step of the way, there has been some left-wing environmental group saying, oh, no, you can't build a wall there. That's where the endangered turtle lives. No, 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 no. You can't build a wall over there either because that's where the endangered frog lives. Wait a minute. Hey, you can't build a wall over there because migratory birds are flying overhead and birds can't fly over a wall or something. I don't know. It's ridiculous. So now they're kind of cutting that out. We're building the wall anyway. I'm seeing some people say that I am muted. I am not. I'm not muted. I think maybe you need to refresh the stream. I think we're good. Anyway, I'm going to keep the show going here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some additional breaking news today. During the Minneapolis riots, you might have taken note of this individual here. This is a far left Antifa member, a woman on TikTok. She was uploading videos about how she wants a riot boyfriend. She wants to date some Antifa guy. And then this woman was also going on and on about how they need to undermine federal law enforcement operations, etc. Well, today she got arrested. OMG, this nutball was she's a left-wing TikTok superstar. This nutball was arrested by DHS earlier today. She assaulted federal officers, ramming her vehicle into their car. She was previously posting TikToks looking for a left-wing riot boyfriend to suit up and attack ICE officers. This is a scene from one of her TikTok videos. Well, today she got arrested alongside what seems to be a collective of other left-wing rioters. More. This is Candelario Gutierrez. Oh my, ugh. Why do they all look like this? Why are they all kind of looking like this? There's another one. There's another one. There is another one. They all kind of have the same style, the same type of look. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. And there's another one. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, oh, look at this. They are doing some audio testing. Trump is going to come on. Excuse me, pardon me. Trump is going to come on out here and make this looks like a very prestigious real deal. They're making a massive announcement pertaining to Trump RX. And really, this looks like it is going to be a big announcement. They have a whole set up here. They're going to be talking about all of this. Now, by the way, I am going to say something real quick. Okay. If you can't hear me, reload the broadcast. Seems like we had some sound issues. It wasn't on my end. I think it was on YouTube's end. But so this is going to be exciting. This is going to be a big whole event, isn't it? Excellent. I want to make sure we don't have double audio here. Okay, no. So ladies and gentlemen, Trump is set to come on out and address the nation here in about 7 minutes. Now, you know, Trump, he can be a little bit late sometimes, but that's okay. Now, Trump earlier today at the National Prayer Breakfast was talking about Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and the 2020 election fraud situation. Take a listen to this.
We have our Director of National and International Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who's doing a great job. Where's Tulsi? She took a lot of heat 2 days ago because she went in at Pam's insistence. She went in and she looked at votes that want to be checked out from Georgia. They say, why is she doing it? Right, Pam? Why is she doing it? Because Pam wanted her to do it. And you know why? Because she's smart. And they said, well, this has to do, her position has to do, it's really not so, but her position has to do with international. I say, well, the same people that said that, they've been saying Russia has been screwing our elections, okay? So let's assume Russia had something to do with it. They say, no, Russia didn't have. So now they're saying Russia had nothing to do with it. Because if I say Russia, that it's perfectly fine. But you could add China and about 5 other countries to it. But she's done a great job, and Pam has done a fantastic job. And
it is a little bit curious. It is a little bit hypocritical. For a long time, we have been hearing that Russia is hacking our elections, Russian election interference. In fact, for a long time, the narrative was that Russia got involved in 2016 and somehow got Trump in the White House in 2016, that the 2016 election was fraudulent. And then now that Trump is actually looking into foreign election interference, now the very same people, the very same Democrats that were talking about Russia, now they're coming out and saying, no. There's no foreign election interference. That's not even possible. No. What are you doing? Shut it down. Shut it down. Take a listen to this.
I believe that the President of the United States is soon going to be briefed by Tulsi Gabbard and other intelligence officials, based on my reporting, about additional intrusions, significant, large-scale intrusions into various forms of our election system. Now, I'm not talking about getting a machine and flipping the vote, but maybe getting enough of state voter databases that a foreign power could work with people on the ground in the United States to fill out fake registrations for people who are on dirty voter rolls. Those licenses that were sent into Chicago were going to be used to make absentee ballot applications, according to the FBI predicate. By the way, Chris Wray's FBI didn't look at that. They shut it down.
Of course they do.
If a foreign power was that far into the election databases of state systems that they could figure out what driver's licenses to send here, the next question becomes, who were they working with on the ground? Who was going to file those ballot requests?
Oh.
I think that's why Tulsi Gabbard was down in Georgia, why you might see her in Arizona, why the FBI will probably be in Arizona, and why the president's about to get a briefing. And all of this new information could have a profound effect on the Save America Act, which is, all right, some people say it feels like we're doing an awful lot. There's not a real problem. These next revelations, if the president were to declassify them after he gets debriefed on them in the next few days, they could educate senators and House members and give them a greater inspiration to maybe go ahead and do the voter ID and the citizenship check. That is a big moment. Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are driving this. It's been below the radar, but they're doing some really big stuff. Now the president's going to find out what it is, and then at that point, the opportunity comes to declassify it. Let's see what it is. There's one other element to this. If government officials lied to us after the 2020 election, there's still an opportunity in some of those cases to pursue criminal cases against them. We'll see where it all comes out, but that's what's going on in the background of the Save America Act debate right now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, permission here while we wait for Trump to come on out. Permission to get a little bit crazy. Go ahead and give me a 1 in the live chat. If I have your permission on YouTube and Rumble to get a little bit crazy here with you guys, I'm just kind of thinking out loud, what do I know? Let me ask you a question. Does it seem like President Trump is worried about midterms at all? Does it seem like President Trump is stressing out about midterms at all? You would think if he was not confident, he would be a little bit worried here. I mean, they're going to impeach him. They're going to impeach him numerous times. We know they're going to do that. They're going to try to bog him up every single step of the way. They're going to try to they might even shut down the government or keep it shut down for 2 years during the second half of his, who knows what they're going to do. It would be bad. It would be bad if we lost the House or the Senate or both. But it doesn't seem like Trump is worried. Trump is not stressing out. He's not sweating bullets. It doesn't really seem like he's worried about it at all. Why? Why? Is it possible that Trump has a plan? Is it possible that Trump knows something, that Trump kind of has an ace up his sleeve that all of us, we're all on the outside, all of us outsiders, that maybe we don't know about? Maybe Trump knows something that we don't. Okay, well, what might that be? This is where we get crazy. This is where the conversation gets crazy. Thank you for your permission here. Oh, there's Dr. Oz, Mehmet Oz. Now, let's get crazy. Could you imagine a scenario where Trump knows for a fact 2020 election was stolen? He has the proof. He's got Maduro in his apprehension. Maduro singing like a songbird. Behind the scenes, Maduro singing like a songbird. We carry out this FBI raid at the Fulton County, Georgia election office. DNI Tulsi Gabbard is on the scene. They have the proof. They have the evidence. And then beyond Fulton County, Georgia, they build similar cases all across the country that elections were tampered with all across the country. They have a bulletproof, airtight case that there was foreign interference in all of these elections all across the country. And then Trump says, hey, listen, we have a very serious problem with election integrity. Here's the proof. Everybody read through it. And it's bulletproof. It's airtight. It's concrete. We know for a fact we've had our elections getting messed with for a long time. Trump gives us the evidence. And Trump says, hey, listen, you know what? Because this is now a national security threat, this is a foreign interference threat. We have foreign entities undermining our election process, undermining our republic, working with perhaps the Democrat Party. We are going to federalize the midterm voting process. Somebody in the live chat says, Matt, you're just making stuff up. Like I said, permission to get crazy. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if this is a fact. In fact, I actually asked you before I started going down this tangent, I said, is it possible? Is it possible that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? And then anyway, let me get back to my train of thought here. That we have all the proof, it's put out there. Trump says, listen, this is a national security crisis. We need to conduct our elections in a different way. Until we can stamp down on this, we've got to do something different here. We need to federalize the elections or something, because we have saboteurs, domestic and abroad, that are trying to undermine our republic. Is it possible I mean, listen, the way that these things are going, who knows? Here's something we do know. This is beyond the realm of speculation. Let's talk about the realm of fact. We were just in the realm of speculation. Let's get back to the realm of fact, okay? We know for a fact that in order for Trump's FBI and DNI Tulsi Gabbard to carry out this raid on the Fulton County Election Office, they had to have a warrant. A warrant, you need probable cause, you need proof and evidence, you need to present probable cause in the form of proof and evidence in front of a judge. They did that. The Trump administration, they put together proof, evidence. They built out probable cause. They put that probable cause in front of a magistrate judge. The magistrate judge looked at whatever they put in front of him and said, oh my God. Okay, here is your warrant. All right, you've convinced me. Here's the warrant. And then what did that warrant allow them to do? They took box after box after box after box of 2020 election material, threw it in the back of FBI semi-trucks, and took it back to whatever FBI field office. They're going through all of it right now. So what do you think that proof was? What do you think that proof might have been? The judge, the magistrate judge that signed off on that warrant, whatever that proof was, and once again, this is in the realm of fact. We know this happened. Whatever that proof was, we don't know what it was, but the judge, the magistrate judge that signed off did, and he thought it was convincing enough to sign off on a warrant, right? Time will tell. Time will tell. And I'll tell you what, here's another inference we can make. We know the entire left-wing apparatus, the progressives, the Democrats, et cetera, we know that right now they are losing their minds. They are losing their minds. Every single day following a week ago, that FBI raid on the Fulton County, Georgia election office, every single day on MS Now, CNN, all over Twitter, everywhere, the Democrats have been losing their minds. It has been meltdown mode for a week now, left of center. Why? Why might they? If this was a nothing burger, if there was nothing to this, if it was a nothing burger, why would they be melting down so much? I don't know. You got to ask the questions here. It's within the realm of possibility. Now, right now, folks, President Trump is going to be coming on out any minute now and talk about Trump RX, which is a new pharmaceutical drug purchasing program where you can buy with a prescription. As far as I understand it, you need a prescription from a doctor or a physician. You can buy heavily discounted pharmaceutical drugs on TrumpRx.gov. This website is going to be launching here tonight. That's the big announcement. Now, of course, something to keep in mind. Even if you don't really care about Trump RX, okay, big deal. I think it is a big deal. But if you don't care about it, always at the end of these events, guess what? Trump takes questions from the media. That is always interesting. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is a big deal. This is a very big
Turn up the
deal.
audio.
People are going to save a lot of money and be healthy. So we're here this evening to celebrate the launch of one of the most transformative healthcare initiatives of all time. There's never been anything like it. Starting tonight, dozens of the most commonly used prescription drugs will be available at dramatic discounts for all consumers throughout a new website. It's called TrumpRx.gov. That's TrumpRx.gov. For years, politicians from both parties have promised to bring down prescription drug prices and make healthcare more affordable, but they all failed. It was all words as usual.
Yeah.
They failed, and they failed badly. They tried doing this. Some of them, most of them didn't even try because they never really had a shot at it. But I'm actually getting it done, and it is done, actually. This launch represents the largest reduction in prescription drug prices in history by many, many times, and it's not even close. You're going to see numbers that you're not going to believe. Americans have long been paying the highest drug prices anywhere in the world, while other countries often paid pennies on the dollar for the exact same drugs. We were essentially subsidizing the entire world, and subsidizing by hundreds of billions of dollars every year. The United States is just 4% of the world's population and consumes only 13% of all prescription drugs. Yet pharmaceutical companies have been making 75% from these drugs. Think of it, 75% of the money they made came from the United States, with a smaller population than what we will call the world. The American people were effectively subsidizing the cost of drugs for the entire world, and it's not going to happen any longer. We ended it. Everybody knew it was unfair for 30 years, but nobody did anything about it. Under the most favored nation agreements my administration has negotiated, the United States will pay the lowest price paid by any other country. So we're taking the lowest price paid for drugs. We will pay equal to whatever the lowest price anywhere in the world. That's the price that you're going to be paying. It's a tremendous reduction. Drug prices in other nations will go up by doing this. They had to agree, and the reason they agreed is I used tariffs. I said, if you don't put them up, then we're going to put tariffs on your nation, which will be more expensive to you. So in many cases, the drug costs will go up by double and even triple for them, but they're going way down for the United States, come all the way down by a difference of as much as 300, 400, 500, even 600%, even more than that in some cases.
That's a big deal.
For example, you will see dramatic reductions in the cost of popular weight loss drugs known as GLP-1s. GLP-1s. Novo Nordisk will be slashing the price, as an example, of Ozempic from more than $1,000 to $199.
Wow.
And the price of Wegovy from more than $1,300 to $199. Nobody can even believe it. A 578% difference. Eli Lilly, who's been very helpful to us in getting this done, will be cutting the cost of its common insulin, drug, and medication from $200 to $25. Nobody can believe it. $200 to $25. AstraZeneca is slashing the price of a common inhaler from $458 to $51, a difference of nearly 800%. And we're also delivering historic discounts for couples struggling with infertility, as EMD Serrano will dramatically cut the cost of its most common IVF drugs. For example, a single dose of the most common IVF drug in the country, Gonal F, will plummet from the highest price in the developed world that we paid. The United States was subsidizing everybody. We paid the highest to the lowest price in the world, which will be demonstrating very shortly. We have some very talented people coming up and showing you how it's going to work and how the website works. All of these discounts and more will be available directly to consumers starting today at trumprx.gov. In just a moment, we will demonstrate how you can go to the website, get a coupon, and pick up your heavily discounted prescription drugs, highest level drugs, the highest level company, finest in the world, biggest in the world, most powerful drug companies in the world. And we had to go through them, and then we had to get all of these countries worldwide to lower their prices, and for us, help us lower our price. And what they did is, again, their prices went up by double, triple, and even sometimes 4 and 5 times. But the dozens of commonly used drugs available today are just the beginning. 16 of the 17 largest pharmaceutical companies have signed agreements, and the other one is coming. Believe me, they're coming, committing that going forward, all new medicines they bring to the market in the United States will be available at most favored nation prices. For those that don't know, that means in the entire world, most favored, we get the most favored, the lowest price. So if somebody gets a great price, that's great for us because we get it. So this is the exact opposite of what's been happening for the last 30-plus years. This
really
policy, which is a key pillar of the great health care plan, is going to bring copays plummeting down and save Americans billions and billions of dollars, making health care much more affordable, like at a level that you couldn't believe. In my first administration, I kept drugs pretty even. I thought I was doing a great job. But this is really the great job. There's never been anything like it. Nobody thought it was possible to get it done. It's the biggest thing to happen in healthcare, I think, in many, many decades. Under these agreements, the top pharmaceutical companies will also be investing hundreds of billions of dollars to bring drug manufacturing back to America. It's already happening. They're building plants all over the country. Eli Lilly is building 6 plants with billions and billions of dollars each, which means jobs, economic growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. And it's really a big factor was the tariffs. We're charging very substantial tariffs for companies that don't want to make their drugs or pharmaceuticals and automobiles and other things.
Yep.
If they don't want to make them in the United States, they have to pay very big penalties in the form of tariffs. And what that means is they're all coming here. Every industry is coming here. We're taking in more than $18 trillion into the United States because of tariffs. The companies, the only way they can avoid them is to build here. They avoid paying the tariff. Now, they've been doing that, countries, to us for 30 years. That's how we lost so much business. They were drying up our country. We were losing factories. We were losing jobs like nobody's ever seen for many, many years. And now it's all been reversed, and we've never had a period. This is the wealthiest our country has ever been. We have hundreds of billions of dollars a year pouring in, and we're taking advantage of it. I want to give a special thanks to Airbnb co-founder and now, much more importantly, the Chief Design Officer of the United States, Joe Gebbia, and the entire team at the National Design Studio. They're unbelievably talented people. This group of geniuses could be doing anything right now. They could have been making a big fortune out there, but they decided they want to be with the government and do exactly what you're going to see tonight, and also some other things having to do with our country. And I want to thank Joe. With their help, our American by Design initiative will fully transform our most dated federal systems and services, providing Americans the richest, most beautiful, and most user-friendly government experience in the entire world. We have the greatest designers in the entire world, and they're with our country. They love our country. That's why they're doing it. So now I'd like to invite Administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, an incredible guy, a really brilliant man, Dr. Mehmet Oz, to show us how this beautiful new website works. And Dr. Oz, come on and let's see what you can tell us. Thank you, by the way, everybody. You're going to save a fortune, and this is also so good for overall health care. And Oz, you've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So you demanded, President demanded, that we have most favored nation drug pricing, which he explained beautifully. Today, you can now get access to these discounted, steeply discounted prices. All the hard work the president and the administration have done now is yours, but you have to go check TrumpRx.gov. So if you have access, please log on right now. It's free. You get to look at all the prices, and you should not be buying drugs anymore going forward without at least checking to see if those medications are available at these discounted prices on TrumpRx.gov. That stated, Mr. President, many people don't appreciate this, but one of the most special things you've been able to do, besides negotiating these kinds of deals, is bring wonderful people around you who can actually fulfill the dream of making drugs accessible so Americans no longer suffer that affordability issue. 1 in 3 Americans are turned away from the drugstore. They can't afford the drugs. No more. Our most vulnerable are protected. To do that, you need brilliant software engineers. And Ed Korstein led a wonderful group that you hired. Folks, again, would never normally have come into government to work to make this possible. And Joe, just a superstar, and he's going to take us through the website.
Well, thanks, Dr. Oz. Mr. President, I've launched some big websites, and this is one I think you're going to be very proud of. So you mentioned Gonal-f. I think this is an interesting drug that we can check and see how do you find a drug on the site. So we'll pull up the website here. This is TrumpRx.gov. And I'm going to start at the search bar where I can search by the drug name. So I type in Gonal-f, and I see it autocompletes. When I click on this, I have a beautiful page that shows the drug product. And right at the top, I see this is 83% off the original price. Now, how do I get this discount? I take this coupon and I bring it to the pharmacy. I can print it out. I can add it to my wallet on my phone, whether that's an Apple or an Android. I show it to the pharmacist, and I get the coupon credit right at the register. Now, this is an intelligent site. We know that there's other drugs that are commonly prescribed along with this, so we surface them here and they work with the same coupon. Okay, next, what pharmacies can you go to get this drug? It's a smart site. We pull up exactly where you can go to get this. Now, Gonal-F is a specialty drug, so you get it through the mail. I can call any one of these pharmacies and they deliver it straight to my home. It's that simple.
Mr. President, 1 in 3 families is having trouble having a baby. We're going to have a lot of Trump babies with these costs. Folks cannot afford these medications. It's going to change their lives. Now, this is the tip of the iceberg, because Joe did a lot more with Ed and the rest of the National Design Studio. How many more medications do you have?
Well, the website launches with over 40 medications, ones that are the popular medications and ones that were previously very expensive. These are things like asthma inhalers, the GLP-1s. And on TrumpRx, you can actually find things like the weight loss shots and also new form factors like the weight loss pill. Let's click on this and see the discount for the pill. 89% off the original price. As you mentioned, Americans for the first time are getting the lowest cost price drugs like the rest of the world is. And we're not done. We're adding more and more drugs week over week. So going forward, it's an invitation to the nation to check TrumpRx.gov anytime you get a prescription.
Mr. President, we're breaking news. This weight loss shot that you've talked about a lot, this is a weight loss pill. And with these pills, which are actually even less expensive than the shots, we project that America will lose about 100 million pounds this year, which is going to make not only folks a lot healthier, but a lot easier to manage when they do get ill. But I'm particularly drawn, as I know you are, to the plight of folks, young couples trying to have children. And that first medication, one of the first ones we did most favored nation drug pricing on, has helped an immense number of folks. But the first person to use TrumpRx.gov to buy Gonal-F is here. And I wanted to introduce her to you, if you don't mind. Catherine's with us. Oh, perfect. Secretary Kennedy's going to escort her.
It's Catherine.
Good evening. I'm incredibly honored to be here tonight. I'm a military spouse, and my husband and I have been navigating infertility and IVF for 5 years, a journey that has included profound loss. Through that experience, we have come to understand how critical access to affordable fertility medication truly is. Medications like Gonal-F and access to them have been essential to our treatment and to our hope of success. IVF demands extraordinary physical and emotional strength. But for so many families, the financial burden can be just as heavy and at times overwhelming. The President's leadership on price transparency and on reducing the costs of medications, some of which are essential in my fertility treatments, has a real and immediate impact. Families like ours, it can mean the difference between being able to continue treatment or having no choice but to stop. These efforts help ensure that IVF remains within reach for families who are doing everything that they can to build a future. Families who should not have to choose between financial stability and the chance to have a child. For that commitment and leadership, we are greatly thankful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great. Well, Oz and everybody, I want to thank you for the job. Joe, what a job you do. Bobby is back here, who is so instrumental. He's doing such a fantastic job. Who would have thought of Kennedy? We love the Kennedy and the Republican Party, but there's been no better advocate for what we're doing than Bobby Kennedy Jr. So I just want to leave you with this. You're going to save tremendous amounts of money. Go to the site. We have many of them, and in a very short period of time, we'll have just about all of them, and they'll be available for differences of 500, 600, 700%, even in some cases more than that. We're tired of subsidizing the world. We have to put America first. If you think about it, that's exactly what we're doing. We want to take care of everybody, but we have to put America first. So this is going to have a huge impact on healthcare. No matter which plan they come up with, drugs and prescription drugs, they form a big part. And now you're going to be getting those drugs at numbers, not with a 1 or 2 or 10% discount, but think of it, 80%, 90% in some cases, numbers that nobody's even thought possible. So I just want to thank our entire team. They have so many people here that have worked so hard. And again, Joe and Oz and Bobby, thank you very much. Great job. And congratulations to you and all that money you're saving, okay? Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So there you have it. There is the big announcement of the day. There you have it. You know, this is one of those things where if you're not someone that takes pharmaceutical drugs, or if you don't have a loved one or a child or whatever that needs to take some type of drug every day, it doesn't really matter much to you. But for people that do need to take a life-saving drug, this is a big deal. It is a big deal. It is a big deal. So, you know, here's what I'll say. If this doesn't really matter much to you, consider yourself very blessed that you don't have to take some drug that is potentially saving your life. But for people that do, this is a really massive deal. This is a big development. It's a big breakthrough. Being able to negotiate this most favored nation status is really just a miracle that they were able to pull this off, because we have had other countries really, like he said, ripping us off. We have been subsidizing in a roundabout way here the healthcare costs of other nations and countries all around the world. Level the playing field. You know what this is? This is like America first. This concept of America first applied to pharmaceuticals is what it is. And, you know, I saw some people in the chat saying, you know, oh, pharmaceuticals are poison. Yeah, in a lot of cases, yeah. But for some people, like, they need a life-saving pharmaceutical drug. And if they stop taking it, they will die, or their life will be torturous. Some people, they have some issue. They need to take a medication. Now, a lot of drugs, yeah, you probably shouldn't be taking them, but there are legitimate, real reasons to take them. Seriously. So it's big news. It's big news. You know, why don't I leave this up here? We have our beautiful feed of the White House. It's looking good. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, thank you guys for being here. You know, we have some other stuff here that we can talk about. We have a couple more things we can talk about tonight, so don't leave yet. You know what I will do real quick? Why don't I take a look at Super Chats before we move on? We have a couple other big topics we're going to break down here in just a moment, but you know what? Why don't we take a look at some of these Super Chats? Why not? Talking about Super Chats never hurt nobody. We have a Super Chat here from Larry Rogers. Mr. Larry Rogers, he says, what's the latest on the filibuster? Right now, we are applying a pressure campaign on Senate Leader Thune. In fact, something we're going to talk about here in just a moment, President Trump tweeted something pertaining to the Save Act and putting pressure, the Save America Act, and putting pressure on Thune. So hold your horses there. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. We have a Super Chat from Texas. Travis says the Democrats got MK Ultra. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Steve Youngquist, he says, Arizona should be next. You want mass deportations in Arizona? Yeah, maybe they need it too. Oh, we lost our White House live feed. And now we're getting techno music on the mountainside. You guys want to have a techno rave on the mountainside? That just auto-played. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Trump is gone, and now we're having a techno rave. All right? No. We have a Super Chat here from, oh yeah, the hat. Sorry. I need to put the hat on. Sorry, Super Patriot Manga Mode. I apologize. We have a Super Chat here from Conservative Cleo. Says, thank you for your commitment and coverage for America. It's appreciated more than you realize. More is force. God bless America. Conservative Cleo, that means a lot. I really appreciate it. You know, I'll tell you, sometimes I feel guilty. Some days it's kind of a slow news day. There's not a lot to talk about maybe in the evening, or I'm a little bit tired, whatever. I'm thinking, maybe I'll take the evening off. No, I can't. I can't do it. Because I know every time I take the night off, if, you know, it's like once every 10 days, I take half a day off. I get a bunch of messages from you guys just say, hey, where were you, Matt Morris? Where were you? I thought you were going to be here tonight. I feel so bad. I feel so guilty. All right. I'm never taking any time off. I'm never taking half a day off. Thank you, Conservative Cleo. I appreciate that. We have one hell of a community. It's true. And by the way, we have some more news to talk about. We have more news to talk about here. Sunkissed Girl says, China no longer making my life-saving medications. Yeah, good. That's a good thing. Yeah, right. Wageless, thank you very much. John Payne says, the fast track of the border wall may not be a good thing, Matt. It says to me that Trump isn't confident about the midterms. Just my opinion. Well, I mean, you could apply this logic to anything. It's like, why is Trump trying to get anything done fast? Why is Trump trying to deliver on any of his campaign promises? Because maybe he's scared of losing midterms. Yeah, or he's just a, result-oriented guy. He's a type A guy. He wants to deliver on his campaign promises. He wants to deliver for all of us Americans. And he realized that, maybe the wall wasn't moving along fast enough. All right, let's kick it into overdrive. I would be a little bit less like panicky about that and just like, yeah, this is something he campaigned on and he wants to make sure he delivers on that, right? That's the way I look at that. Thank you, John Payne. Whoa, goodness gracious. We have some other super chats up here. I want to make sure I'm not missing out on these. We have oh goodness, yes, we do. I have missed a couple. First off, I've got a Rumble message. He says, Matt, you should take one day off a week just for your own mental health. So can I quickly, I'll talk about myself here for a minute. I have some type of brain abnormality. I don't know if I'm mentally defective. When I talk about what's good for my own mental health, it is working. Seriously, if I ever have to take a day off or if I have to go on vacation, God forbid if I have to go on vacation, I lose my mind. I go insane. For me, I need to work. I need to be productive. I need to work. I have to be working. And if I'm not, that is what makes me go insane. I go stir crazy. So for me to have good mental health, I need to work. I need to be productive. I need to be accomplishing something. If I'm not, I go crazy. I'm not like a relax and chill type of guy. I got to keep on plugging along. Otherwise, I lose my damn mind. So for my own mental health, I'm going to keep on working every single day. Hey, thank you very much. Okay, we have a super chat here from Curtis. Curtis here, he says, hey, Matt, been absent for a few days. Good to be back. What's going on at the White House right now? Today, the big announcement was Trump RX. We've been kind of hearing about Trump RX. They've been building it out behind the scenes. Now, today is the official launch of TrumpRx.gov, where if you have a prescription from a doctor or a medical professional, you can go onto TrumpRx.gov and you can purchase heavily discounted pharmaceutical medication and have it delivered right to your doorstep. And it's going to save a ton of people a ton of money. That's the big news. That was the big announcement today. But we've got some other stuff we're talking about. We're doing super chats, and then I have some other daily updates I want to share with you guys. Curtis, by the way, welcome back. Good to see you. I was starting to get worried. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Welcome back to the show, my brother. My brother. Welcome back to the show. We have a super chat here from Sauce Boss. He says, hey, Matt, big fan. The worst series of the Vax was by far the first. My brother-in-law went into heart failure. We were both nurses during COVID, myself in the ICU. We can't go back before that. Yes, we should make sure we don't have any type of COVID vax dynamic ever again. That was terrible. It was catastrophic. It was terrible. It was evil, really, is the way that was handled. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You're totally right. You are right about that. And we have a big super chat here from Andy Finsterwald. Welcome back, sir. Good to see you. He says, you always say my name flawlessly, Finsterwald. That's how they say it in German, Finsterwald. Finsterwald. Wald. He says, it's much appreciated. My family came from Switzerland. I'll tell you something real quick. My wife is German, and they all speak German. In Switzerland, they're speaking, it's a heavily accented German. My wife, she can be a little bit funny. She says, the Swiss, they sound like they're speaking German, but retarded. I said, huh, sweetie, what do you mean? She says, yeah, the Swiss, they sound like retarded Germans. They sound a little bit retarded. Okay, sweetie, thank you. Pardon my language. Hey, listen, I'm not in trouble. My wife said that, not me. The Swiss, I'm sure, are great people. Thank you very much. Came from Switzerland 200 years ago. Now you're in Texas, in Wheeler County, Texas. We helped build Moby, Texas. the mother of the panhandle. We should talk soon. Love you, man. Thanks, man. Seriously, hey, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope my wife didn't offend you. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. You know, it's funny over here in the US, you know, we have our jokes about Californians, they're all gay, and everybody in Alabama is doing incest, and in New York, everybody's rude, and like whatever, right? We have our own, you know, stereotypes about our states. Well, you know, in Europe, everybody in Minnesota is Somalian, you know, blah, blah, blah. We have our American stereotype. Well, in Europe, they have the same thing, right? The Germans, they have their opinions of the French, and the French have their opinions of the British, and everybody has their opinions of the Portuguese, and whatever. They have kind of the same thing. They all have their stereotypes. The Germans think the Swiss sound retarded. So, hey, that's the way it goes. I don't know what to tell you. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Everybody has their stereotypes. Okay, I think I am on top of the super chats here. So, what I would like to do now is go through some of today's news, because we have a little bit more news to talk about. It's been kind of an eventful afternoon. We do have some stuff to talk about here. And the first thing that I want to talk about real quick, look at this. There was yet another left-wing assassination attempt that was attempted today. Look at this. Breaking news. A leftist man named Colin DeMarco was arrested for allegedly plotting to assassinate OMB director Russ Vought. Russ Vought, we call him the Grim Reaper, right? The Office of Management and Budget. He was the one that was responsible for hacking and slashing waste and fraud and corruption out of the government. So a left-wing assassin was plotting to show up at his house to confront him about Project 2025. And now I'm remembering, I believe Vought was one of the architects of Project 2025, one of the chief authors. That was Democrats' main attack against Trump during the 2024 election. They almost got him killed. This guy, another would-be assassin. Luckily, that was intercepted somehow. We also got some very curious news. Take a listen to this. We have a new Epstein photo. Photos that just came out today show a trap door on Epstein Island leading to water underneath Epstein's property. So he had an office or a building on the island, and in the building, like next to his office or something, was a trap door that released into the ocean. And here are the photos. Yeah, this is a little bit weird. Earlier emails in the files casually reference, quote, staff sleeping in the tunnels. We also know that Epstein has submarine. Epstein, I kid you not, had a private submarine that was going back and forth. This guy was like, you know, I don't want to make light of how terrible and disgusting this situation is. This guy was like an evil, like out of an Austin Powers movie, like Dr. Evil type of stuff. Private island, international network, trapdoors, bunkers, weird temples on the island, mansions all over the place, estates all over the world. Very weird, very weird. Submarines, private jets, private boats, all of this stuff. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Now, we were talking about the filibuster and the Save America Act. We have some updates here. President Trump, just about an hour ago, right before I went live with you folks, President Trump dropped a post on Truth Social. And it says this: America's elections are rigged, stolen, and a laughing stock all over the world. We are either going to fix them or we won't have a country any longer. I am asking all Republicans to fight for the following: Save America Act. All voters must show voter ID identification. All voters must show proof of United States citizenship to register for voting. And 3, no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. Yeah, so now Trump is getting directly involved, applying pressure on Truth Social. We've been doing this, all of us. We have been calling our senators and our representatives. Thune, let's go, Thune. We've been putting pressure where it needs to be, and now Trump is getting involved. If it's up to me, okay, This is very serious. The fate of the republic is at stake. I think Trump should actually hold a national address. He should, like in old school, he's seated at the Oval Office, sitting behind the resolute desk, hands on the table. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm addressing the nation in order to push for the Save America Act. I want a professional, old school presidential national address talking about the Save America Act. Maximum pressure campaign. Let's get serious here. Let's get serious about this. It's one thing to post a Truth Social post. National address, Oval Office, resolute desk. Let's go. We mean business. All of us, we're doing our job. We're calling in. We're sending emails. We're doing everything we can. I feel like I've been complaining about this for the last week straight. I'm probably sounding like a broken record now. We have got to pass this. We've got to pass it. Let's go. Let's go. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that actually is pretty much all the big news of the day. Admittedly, it was kind of a slow news day. I think we touched on everything that has been done today. And then, of course, we have the big Trump RX announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate that. I appreciate it very much. I want to say thank you all. If you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to follow. Make sure to like. It's going to be a big year, ladies and gentlemen. 2026 is going to be one hell of a year, and we are going to be here every single day for it. Well, twice a day. Every single day, twice a day, we are going to be here. Rain or shine, high view count, low view count, doesn't even matter. We're going to be here twice a day making sense of everything as this unfolds. It's going to be a hell of a year. Thank you, folks, very much for tuning in. I want to say thank you again. I will see you guys tomorrow. You know how we do it. We're going to be back again, hitting it hard. Everyone have a great night. God bless. Stay safe. And until I see you tomorrow, once again, thank you very much. Have a great night.